have no idea if Shenhe and Ganyu have ever seen her in this form before. Wait, where did she go? Why are you just standing there, Cloud Retainer?
Quietly now. One shall stay here.
But what?
If one were to proudly proclaim one's presence, Ganyu would surely profess herself otherwise unoccupied. One does not wish to trouble her. Conversing vicariously via you two shall suffice.
Fair enough, makes sense.
Cloud Retainer?
Ugh.
Oh,
Is that lady someone you know? She is indeed. I'm sorry, Huixin, but could we delay the upcoming—
Oh, not to worry, Miss Ganyu.
Thank you.
it's been a while, Ganyu.
Greetings. What brings you here today? And Cloud Retainer, too. It's been quite some time.
You are quite mistaken. One is not acquainted with this Cloud Retainer of who—
Huh?
Seems she's not buying it.
That was but a simple test. One did not
But recognizing you is,
and one was simply passing by while attending to some important business.
Wait, Paima wasn't aware of any important. Oh, Cloud Retainer's right. We've still got something.
Oh, is that so?
One simply
I understand.
While one acknowledges the amount of work that you have to deal with every day, one must also remind you to rest. It still makes one nostalgic to see you as you are now, respected and in—
Cloud Retainer!
If you insist. We are running short on time regardless, so one will refrain—
Wow, you've been to— Also, forgive me for my presumptuousness, Cloud Retainer.
A human name? Huh. You raise a valid point. Considering—
You really think so? Not that you're not famous.
You presume to know the extent of one's illustrious achievements. One would hardly think such a thing to be possible.
Canyon?
I assume that's a reference. An adeptus of years past would rise with the clouds and rest with the moon. They were enlightened and—
Oh, that sounds super cool! Paimon feels like only the most powerful of it.
Actually, those lines were written—
Huh? Wait, so you're really that powerful?
And what of it? Did you truly—
Not exactly.
To be fair, Cloud Retainer rarely speaks of her past accomplishments. It is said that once, a long, long time ago, there was a severe— Although I did not live through such tragedy, simply reading about— On top of the drought, a noxious gas also began to spread through the land. The books had this to say: upon arrival, the Adeptus borrowed the wind to retain the clouds. Immediately, the
That's incredible!
Mortal records add embellishments to dramatize past events. One did merely with one ought. And even if one had not—
Even so, you stopped an entire drought! Can you really control— Oh, Paimon suddenly has a lot more respect for you.
How laughable. A name is but a simple label we carry with us on our journey through—
That's a relief. In that case, Paimon will continue—
Well, that is quite enough ancient history for now. Ganyu, have you had word from Shenhe? One has heard that she procured a job recently. Moreover, does she find herself overly—
That?
There is no cause for concern, Cloud Retainer. Wanmin Restaurant's business has been booming recently. So, with Chef Mao being swamped with customers—
I see. Most excellent indeed. One has had the pleasure of being introduced to that family. Xiangling is kind and— Now, it is almost—
Huh? But didn't you just say that you had—
Can that wait until—
You may return to your work, Ganyu. One shall see to this matter on one's own. There will be many an occasion to—
Of course, Cloud Retainer. Please, take care. Traveler?
See you around, Gun! Whew! Paimon was pretty quick on the uptake there. As soon as you mentioned important business to attend to,
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, how can I not? Not even fine food is enough to distract from a present.
Oh, I'm far more interested in getting her deed. You do it. No. I think you should.
What can I get for you today?
Greetings, miss. I was just wondering.
What would you like to order?
2 servings of more meat to go.
Welcome. It's been a...
Don't welcome us as guests and greet us as old friends in the...
Mm-hmm. Oh,
this is...
Master?
Huh?
One does not recall ever revealing this form to you before.
I've trained and lived with Master for more than 10 years. Is something the matter, Master?
Hardly. One simply learned of your employment from your letter.
And check out the great food.
Indeed. It's almost lunchtime. My
Well, if it isn't the traveler in Pipe, the lunch rush isn't in. Go ahead, sit down and enjoy some time with your friends. I'll let you know.
Thank you, Chef.
Useless. It is just as... Still, the work here entails dealing with quite a varied group of people. Has this been difficult for you, Shenhe?
It's been manageable so far. I sometimes run into...
Seems like you've been making progress.
First, I try to talk sense into them. If that doesn't work, I threaten them with violence.
Oh, a sensible plan. One
And you, Master? How...
simply marvelous. Though Mount Outsong has scarcely enjoyed your presence recently.
I see. I have missed Master quite a bit too. Even though work has been busy lately.
Oh, you did?
Whoa. And by the way, Master, since you are...
Indeed. She is similarly preoccupied with her work.
Ganyu told us the story of Cloud Retainer's name.
I see. In that case...
Oh?
Is that a problem, Master?
No, not a problem. One was simply caught off guard. But no matter. Please, proceed. One is most curious to see how much of one's own conversational prowess you possess.
Master once participated in a race against Mooncarver. After Mooncarver lost, he insisted that Master... In response, Master agreed to forego flying in return for being able to use one of her devices in the race.
Huh. What kind of device was it?
It was a mechanical vehicle made out of iron. What was it called again?
Oh, you refer to the bicyclical Thunder Flashmobile. One spent 49 days conceptualizing and crafting it. It need only be infused with adeptal energy. Oh, it boggles the mind why Mooncarver ever supposed he might best me in a contest of locomotion. Though he sprinted with all his might, he... Alas, the one flaw of my mechanism lay in its weakness against mountainous terrain. One was thwarted mere seconds from victory, when it was thrown off course and failed to make it across the final stretch.
Master, that was the end of that story.
Is that so?
Have you been lonely, Master?
Lonely? Huh. At one's age, entire human generations, 'tis a most foreign sentiment. The mere mention of it is preposterous. What is the reason for that look upon your face?
It's nothing. It's just... Well, Paimon gained a lot of respect for you after listening to that story of you summoning the rain and everything. But all it took was a few words out of your mouth and it's like you're back to being that illuminated bird again. I was just a little bit confused. Which one of the two is the real Cloud Retainer?
To me, they are both, Master. One is the Master that's widely revered by the people, while the other is the Master that I respect and...
One is fond of all kinds. The dishes here demonstrate no shortage of culinary skill. Their unique flavor profile has left one more than satisfied.
Everything's so tasty. A bit too hot at times, but still...
I'm sorry, miss, but our tables...
Shall we try somewhere else, Granny?
But it smells so delightful.
Well, you could always check with some of the other guests.
Okay, I'll... Excuse me. Would you mind letting us share a table with you? Ah, well, Paimon doesn't mind. What about you guys? Great. Thanks so much. My Granny? Yep. No, Paimon's just a bit surprised. Yeah, a lot of people compliment Granny on her youthful looks. Granny, why don't you take a seat?
Huh. Have we met before?
No.
Anticipated meeting, then. Please, take a seat.
What would you like to eat, Granny?
I want braised earthworms. They all...
No, not this again. Granny, braised earthworms? Well, that sounds weird. Right, that's what Paimon... Help? Oh, do you mean with Gran... Thanks, that's nice of you to offer. Granny has pretty bad dementia, so her memory's getting worse all the time. She's always saying things that some... Actually, her memory's been bad ever since I was little. But it's gotten so bad lately that I even have to remind her who I... They died young. Oh, but it's okay. Don't feel bad. Granny loves me a lot. Wow. You're...
And me?
You're tough too, Granny. Plus,
Yes, and it's hardly as if I forget everything. I still remember the important things. I remember now. It was a dream. I had a dream where
Huh? That sounds super...
it was just a dream, so you know, I believe...
Wait, so you have a reoccurring dream where someone's talking to you? That sounds spooky. Does that mean you're possessed?
Unlikely. Her eyes are clear, and her breathing remains calm and level.
Are you sure?
Who do you take me for? Is one not an adept? Am I not an ex?
You're right. Paimon almost forgot you're the expert.
Not anymore. Although...
Yeah, this is just getting weirder and weirder. What is going on here?
As one said, fate must...
Are you sure? Paimon's Paimon.
Just Shenyun is fine.
Thank you all so much for offering to help. But first, I'm sorry for asking, but, how do you want us to pay you back? Oh, we don't need any payment for this. You're welcome. But Miss Shenyun, all we have to go off is that...
That is elementary. Since her dreams portray her younger self, then we shall retrace the steps.
Sounds like a plan. So...
Why, of course I do. The heck...
Okay, Once when I was really little, my dad told me that Granny used to be a If it's true, then maybe they wrote about it in the history. A martial arts heroine? Oh, Shinjo knows tons about
Are you leaving already? But I'm still...
I'll go order some food, Granny. If there's nothing on the menu you especially want.
It seems we must part ways for now. The Traveler and Paimon are bound for the Feiyun Commerce Guild, while Yuendai and Shuyu shall remain here and partake of their lunch. As for myself, I have...
Street word rambler?
Precisely. Let us meet at you...
That's not a whole lot of information to go off of. I can't pinpoint her identity from your description alone.
Nameless hair?
That's right. The novels often speak of a great drought from 50 years ago. As the people suffered, a nameless heroine appeared. All they knew was that she always acted alone. Later, though, she supposedly fell in love with a similarly noble-minded exorcist from Mount Tianheng. They were well matched after the drought ended. The heroine and the exorcist left the public eye. The way this nameless heroine faded from fame into obscurity later...
Thanks a lot, Shinjo. We knew it'd be...
It's nothing at all. Just something I came across while reading. I did do a bit of extra research.
Well, Paimon still thinks that's super cool. Oh, wait. Shinjo,
Let me think. In the novels, the nameless heroine always appeared near one of 3 places. Wangshu Inn. Perhaps the real-life heroine who inspired the character. It's rare for a chivalric hero to fade into obscurity during their lifetime. Even after retiring from the public eye, I've never understood why someone would go to such lengths to erase themselves from public memory.
we'll be sure to tell you if we manage to
That's a deal. Perhaps, behind the truth of it all,
Paimon feels like we just learned so much from Shinjo. A drought and... Oh, right! There's a drought in this story, too!
well, they used to be. But people have long since developed methods to prevent them, like by cultivating the soil or digging canals. So while droughts do happen from time to time, they are rarely regarded as true disasters. The drought 50 years ago is probably one of the worst we've had, and the crops withered, the streams ran dry, and the monsters in the mountains became rabid and agitated. Countless caravans were attacked, and people...
That sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the nameless heroine was so beloved. Still, as terrible as that drought was, they say that back in those days, disasters were both more severe and more common. Do you have any other questions?
We're good for now. We're just going to head back and meet up with Miss... Paimon hopes that Granny... Anyway, we'll be off now. See you some other time, Shinjo.
It's no problem.
I have recorded the tune that you requested. I hope it will be of help to you.
Oh, thank... Straight word, but... Ping.
Oh, it's no serious matter. I was just reminiscing about the last time I saw you in this form. Time has wrought such...
Time has little bearing on one's existence, nor has one keenly felt its effects whilst dwelling at Mount Outsong. Nevertheless, Ping, one would like to see...
Oh, why so formal all of a sudden?
Well, approximately how much more would one need to afford a...
It does not require...
Cloud Retainer, Madam Ping!
Nothing save for some trivial matters.
Shinjo has a theory, but let's save it for when Chuyu and...
Do not be troubled, young lady.
What do you think, Chuyu? Does it match up with what...
According to the story, the nameless heroine eventually fell in love with an exorcist from Mount T. I don't have many memories of him. But there was this one time I found a box in our attic full of a bunch of weird sigils. I think so too. Granny might remember something once she's returned to a familiar place.
What marvelous tea. It's as if I was taking a stroll in the...
Is that so? Then please drink as much as you like. There's no need to...
Thank you.
Okay, since we have the time...
Sure thing.
I have a secret I want to tell you.
What's wrong,
Well, I've been kind of meaning to ask ever since we started...
Oh! How about that? Well, must have been a slip of the tongue. Shan,
One is indeed an
I knew it. Well, one time when I was a little kid, I had this super high fever, and Granny wasn't around. She put me on her back and flew me to her cool Adeptus house, and fed me some sort of magic. I really wanted to thank her, but I was too sleepy to stay awake. So, I just kind of wanted to ask you,
a pure white illuminated crane? Have you ever met one that's pure white,
Never has one met an Adeptus with such features. Once.
That's weird. Well, even if it was just in my head, it doesn't.
Leave it to us! Now that we know the 3 locations, we just need to visit them one by one. Let's go to Wangshu Inn first.
Okay, I'll go get Grit.
Wangshu Inn.
Do you remember this place?
Yes. I believe I used to have a room here. It had a...
I'll come with.
Paimon's still having some trouble understanding what she's talking about, but if she's so...
I sensed a non-human presence and decided to come to... If you're here, then there's likely no trouble. It's been a while, Cloud Retainer. I have indeed.
Oh, wow! What was she like during... Oh, wait, let Paimon take a guess. Was it anything like this?
Behold, the glory of one's newest invention, the bank!
An impressive imitation. Even so, Cloud Retainer was not always as ostentatious as you describe. The Archon War reached its peak after Guizhong's death. The Cloud Retainer who fought beside me in those devastating...
A Cloud Retainer who barely talks? Paimon can't picture it. But what happened?
Once one had bid farewell to the world of mortals, what use would one still have when dwelling between mountain and forest, away from the struggles and troubles of the mortal world?
After the war, Cloud Retainer retired to Mount Outsong. Although I do believe there was an occasion some 30-odd years...
One believes there is little need to relive bygone matters.
Granny, are you okay?
Perhaps this conversation should end. Should you encounter any trouble, you need only call my name.
Everyone! I think Granny is finally...
Slowly now. Calm your mind.
A long time ago,
So what Shinjo said was...
I don't remember. I'm very sorry, but I was confined to my room in Wangshu Inn, where I spent many days unconscious. I'd come to every once. One day, I met a traveling merchant. Upon hearing of my illness, he sold me a bottle. He told me that the pills were concocted using Adepti blood and could be used to alleviate my symptoms.
Wait, but if your illness remained dormant for several decades, and it was all thanks to the pills that you managed to keep the
I'm sorry, I don't.
Hey, you're not useless.
Oh, fret not, dear child.
The recovery of a person's memories is a gradual process. Finding pieces of one's past is always...
Next location. There isn't really a landmark there, so where should... After all, if she was there for any length of time, then she would have stayed somewhere, right?
Useless.
Whoa, why are there so many treasure hoarders here? Guess it's time to round up some bad guys.
The hunter becomes the hunt.
Do you remember anything about this place, Granny Wendai?
Let me think. But I don't think I stayed.
Got it. That's okay.
Wait a second. If I remember correctly, I believe I brought. Ah, yes. I brought some sweet snacks with me. Go on, take some. You need to eat a lot if you want to grow big and strong.
Oh, thank you. Then Paimon will help herself. Paimon sees an abandoned house. Why don't we take a break over there?
This.
Did you remember something, Granny?
I remember. It was a moonless night. I had been injured, so your grandpa was supporting me. We fled together with some being in the fog behind us in hot. I had exhausted my strength when the labor pains came on, so we took refuge in the. I remember that night. I remember falling to I alone am the source of this sin. Punish me.
Sin?
I don't know. I don't remember. I only remember praying, and eventually the house was filled with the sound of my baby's first cries.
My dad?
He was my pride and joy, and so are you, Shuyu. But you're always going to be different from me. I
don't care what you might have done, Granny.
You're too sweet, Shuyu. I'm lucky to have you with me. All right. Let's not stand around and...
If one recalls correctly, the next place should be Chinyu.
I may be a bit slow, but I'll do my best to keep up. I'm sorry to keep everyone waiting.
Climb on. I shall carry you to the top. Oh, such lightness of weight.
All those who grow...
We're finally here. Does this place feel familiar to you, Grin?
Let me see... How strange. Have I... When we were at Wangshu Inn and the abandoned house earlier, though I couldn't remember everything, I still felt a sense of familiar... But here, I don't have that feeling. Perhaps I did come here in the past, but it just...
But did the stories get it wrong then? Yeah, that's true. But Paimon was hoping this place would jog Granny Uendai's
I'm sorry to disappoint you.
It's all right. We're not going to give up yet.
Thank you. Huh? That way. What's that mountain?
Oh, let Paimon look! Huh? Isn't that Mount Outside? Looks like we've come full circle.
Mount Outsong. Mount Outsong.
Granny, are you okay? Don't push yourself, Granny. It's okay if you can't remember.
Mount Outsong,
Mount Outsong holds some...
It does, but I can't...
Are you feeling unwell?
My head... It feels...
Cloud... Miss Yenyun, is there anything you can do?
Let us go to Mount Outsong.
But...
Fret not. All will be well. You and you may leave the rest to me. I've prepared something that can aid you in suppressing the fear in your heart and restore...
Wait, really? When did you do that?
I never leave anything to chance. All will
Let's light it up! Off we go! Ha!
If it's useful, I'll take it.
Here, this is it.
Huh? But isn't this the mechanism that you were tinkering with when we first got here? Oh, is it another invention of yours?
Precisely. A recent one at that. I am most pleased with it. Periodically releases a soft breeze, which when paired with a gentle adeptal tune, can help the listener's subconscious, soothing agitation and anxiety, relieving exhaustion and insomnia.
Oh, what a cool gadget! We could have come to Mount Outsong right off the...
How preposterous. Had you and I not recalled, we Adepti can only help those who first resolve to help themselves. Had she lacked such determination...
Paimon thinks she gets it.
As previously mentioned, a gentle adeptal tune is required to take full advantage of the mechanism. One secured such a tune from streetward
Oh, Paimon can feel what you mean. Paimon's body feels like...
And you and I. It appears she has already succumbed.
The drought is over. But why do you look like you want to cry?
The potion. It's nearly run its course.
I've never regretted meeting you. Not even for a second.
Please. Please, no. Have you forgotten? This is the world you left behind. One of gentle breeze and morning dew, perfectly straddled betwixt the realms of heaven. This is your home. This is where you belong. You should have never left. The you of the past, the me from not that long.
So that is the truth. No wonder this place is so...
Granny! Granny?
Cloud Retainer.
Your memories have...
Wait! Did you just call her by her... You already knew it?
Yes.
Granny, please don't...
Oh, don't worry, my dear. I'm so sorry. It's all come back to me now.
One can sense the guilt that now plagues your conscience. Reclaiming a truth long buried is...
No, it's okay. Shuyu, everyone, I cannot thank you enough for all your help. I'm ready to tell you my story, if you're willing to listen.
Please, Granny, don't force yourself. What happened in the past?
I know, dear child. My feelings for you are exactly the same. Some time ago.
Is this the sin that you mentioned?
I am, in truth, not a human. I spent many, many years living on Mount Outsong, bathing in the soft breeze and drinking the sweet dew of the mountains. Though she never took me on as a formal disciple, I always saw her as my master. I even contemplated completing my training and becoming an adeptus in my own right. I followed her teachings, and time gradually...
50 years ago?
That's right. Master regaled me with many stories of her past. She was the one I looked up to the most. More than anything, I dreamt, but I was still far from being a real adeptus. I possessed no ability to take on human form. She warned me that the potion's effects would only last 10 years, and if I were to fail to return to my original form at the end of that time, I would...
Oh no. So that was... Was it because of...
Indeed. I fell in love. Though he was human, he had spent his entire life training on Mount T. Although clumsy and impulsive as he was, you'd think he was the real strange bird among the two of us. But still, just like me, he cared. I could not help but fall for him. But my time continued to tick away.
Oh no.
I committed an offense. I wanted to stay with him, even if it meant living a life full of pain inside. I knew I had betrayed Master's hopes, but I was too ashamed to face her. So I wrote her a long... I was convinced that she would not support my decision, and I lacked the courage to speak to her face to face. But that was only the beginning of my troubles. I began to suffer from a strange illness. My memories became hazy and confused. Along with my memories as a crane, I soon forgot the true cause of my suffering as well. Looking back, I was beyond lucky to have come across that traveling merchant at Wangshu Inn. It was such a fortunate
Granny!
Coincidence? Why did I ever think it was a coincidence, Master?
Human custom would dictate the conferral of gifts to be in order when one's
So when I tried to conceal my name and mistakes from the world and hide myself...
One still remembers when you were but a fledgling. You possessed a certain fondness for a particular game. You would hide yourself among a group of wild... One found you with such ease every time.
Oh, wait! Paimon! So, Cloud Retainer, you found Yuendai again?
Perhaps... One was furious upon receiving your letter. Seized with anger, one set out to bring you to your senses. Truth, one had more than a few misgivings about your chosen partner. As an exorcist, his talent was lacking. One could... But soon, one came to appreciate the devotion he bestowed upon... Unwilling to begrudge someone of such character, one wishing to grant you a life without regrets. One gathered many divine ingredients, and used... As for how to deliver the medicine, after much, one took great care to alter one's features and select the appropriate attire. As one expected, you were most ignorant of one. One was quite torn. Should one have celebrated the success of one's disguise? Skyward! Nevertheless, one would speak to you about another matter, if you are amenable. Even considering your loss of memory, one was simply flabbergasted that you could so easily forget the consequences of consuming medicine infused with adeptal blood. It's proclivity to attract monsters is hardly that complicated of a concept to remember. To think that you tried to travel while weak from sickness and heavy with child. Had one not intervened to clear the fog, all of you would have been lost during the night. Those monsters would hardly have pursued you with such ferocity without sufficient Said godly one was, after all, an active participant in the Archon War. Some of the gods were likely shattered by contract. In the end, one was relieved to see you endure through the night. At the break of dawn, one heard an infant's cry pierced to see you happy. Now you should have a complete understanding of the events.
Wait, but if that's true, then the crane who took care of me when I was sick must also be...
Ah, one had almost neglected to recount the absurdities of that tale. Just as Yuendai troubled one with her antics, so did you. Upon finding you burning with fever, one made plans to bring you back to one's abode for treatment. However, upon seeing one's form, you began to cry. When one asked you why, apparently you believed that one could not possibly be a true Adeptus, because one had no choice but to apply powder to one's body to conceal the variegated nature of one's appearance. You became more than amenable. It bears mentioning, however, that as a crane, Yuendai was nearly entirely pure white in color. Perhaps fate brought you to... Now all has been... One owes you an apology, Yuan. One has always viewed you as a disciple of equal standing with... Still, one could not reveal your identity right away. Had one memories are most meaningful when recalled by those who live through them. Would you not agree? Even if...
Master, I must ask. If you found me all those years ago, why?
One has never regarded your action. When it is time for one's progeny to leave the nest, it is the responsibility of an elder to let them fly free. 'Tis a refuge referred to by many a name in mortal writing. One speaks, of course, of a place not unlike one's own abode. One's disciples are free to come and go as they wish. Yet the door...
Thank you. Thank you so much.
40 years ago, fortunately, you were able to avoid that scenario by
So...
One will help her
She's gotta go back to being a...
Master, I don't know how I could possibly
Granny? Please don't...
Don't be sad, dear child. Granny has led a wonderful life. My only regret is having to leave you behind. Don't forget to eat well, okay? A growing young lady like yourself needs lots of good food to grow big and strong. Promise Granny you'll take good care of yourself when I'm gone.
I promise, Granny. I'll do whatever you say.
Good girl. Good girl. Don't worry. It's not goodbye forever. Granny's gonna become the most formidable crane in all of Mount Outsung. Granny will train day and night. I won't stop until I can turn into a human without having to rely on anything but my own power. When that day comes, we'll be able to live together again, You and I. How's that sound?
Good.
That's a good girl. Even though we won't see each other for a little while, as long as we both work hard, we're sure to meet again someday.
I'll eat well, Granny. I promise. And I'll wait for you, no matter how long it takes. I'll wait for you to come back.
That's a good girl. Then Granny really has no more regrets. I'm so sorry, Master. Thank you for everything.
Shiryu.
Let her be. At her age, crying is a natural, if not fitting response to such an event. Tears are a necessary part of maturation. Sometimes there is scarcely a better vehicle to wash away the toll of stress and misery. Now that the issue has been resolved, you should also take a moment to relax. Give yourself some time to rest. Take a nap if you must. One will wake you in due time.
I always believed we would see each other again, that our days of separation would finally end, and all my troubles would be behind me. If only things could stay this way forever.
A nightmare? Curious. If you're relaxed, shouldn't your dreams be pleasant?
It was a good dream. It's just...
You weren't ready to wake up. Eloquent as one may be, words of comfort are not one's strong suit. You are doing all you can. One can see your strength of will, your fearlessness in the face of danger. And so, whatever your dream may be, one believes that you shall achieve it. Of course, whenever the perils you face overwhelm you, or you become weary, one is always here for you. After all, as an elder, it is only right to look out for the young ones.
Grilled chicken drumsticks. Huh? Was Paimon sleeping just now? Oh. Oh, Paimon wasn't talking to you. Paimon had a dream about eating grilled chicken drumsticks, that's all.
Madam Adeptus?
Oh, Shuyu, you're awake. How do you feel?
I feel a little better. Thanks. I know I'll see Granny again someday, so I don't feel so sad anymore. Madam Adeptus? Could I, ask you something? Would you take me in as a disciple?
Oh, and have you reasons for this sudden interest?
I know Granny thought what she did back then was wrong. She felt really bad about it. But without that mistake, I would have never been born. Even though Granny lost her memories, she never forgot to show me how much she loved me. So, I thought maybe one day I could become a cool Adeptus like you and help a whole bunch of people, just like Granny wanted to do.
Upon some reflection, one supposes you are no mere mortal. The fact that Yuendai's blood flows through your veins is proof enough of that. If this is what you desire, one shall make it so.
Thank you so much, Madam Adeptus. No, I mean, Master.
Shuyu, are you sure about this? Paimon's gonna let you in on a little secret. We've seen Cloud Retainer's 2 other disciples, and they pretty much eat nothing but bitter herbs like Genshin and violet grass. If you join them, you'll never enjoy One-Man Restaurant's delicious cooking ever again.
How utterly preposterous. One has never enforced such a rule. Every individual must find their own path to enlightenment. So long as one retains a pureness of spirit, one's dietary proclivities are quite irrelevant.
Well, you say that, but Paimon's not seeing any tasty treats up here now, is she?
Although Mount Outsong is rich in natural beauty, its location does preclude access to certain finer mortal comforts. That is precisely why one plans to relocate to Liyue Harbor. Shuyu shall have the honor of becoming one's first disciple in the human world.
Whoa! You're leaving Mount Outsong?
One has never concerned oneself with the location of one's residence. From the very beginning, one has sought only solace and peace. Yet in the end, all of one's disciples ended up in Liyue Harbor. Ganyu, Shenhe, Yuendai, they all chose a life among the mortal world. One has reflected on this fact for many years now. One can only assume that it is due to some failing on one's part as an elder or master. A failing, perhaps, of recognizing what it was they truly wanted. One is most curious as to what aspect of Liyue Harbor could have enticed them to... Why are you all so...
Paimon is... yes?
One has precious little time to squander. However, if one will be assuming the identity of a human while residing in Liyue Harbor, you should take care to avoid disclosing one's true identity.
Don't worry, we'll help you keep it as... So, when can...
Perhaps in 2 days' time. One has some matters to see to before one's departure. Preparation is the key to success, after all. One has already picked out a handsome property near Chuhu Rock. 'Tis no small purchase, but...
seems like you've really thought of it. Then how about we meet up in Liyue Harbor in 2 days?
A sensible plan. See you then. Oh, also, why don't you take this Suspense Somnium mechanism as a souvenir? Anytime you
Awesome! Thanks! Hey, didn't we promise Shincho that we'd tell him what we found out? Should we make a trip to the Feiyun Commerce Guild? It's totally up to you.